Okay, so now sounds like we are live. And I hope, let me see if I'm missing something here today. That's here. Oh, I can see you're getting some audio there. Okay, good. I'm not missing. So, but now you're gonna need to mute your laptop so we don't get an echo here. All right. All right, everybody. Thank you all for coming. This is Ruby Tuesday, KL 103. We're starting 5 minutes, 3 minutes earlier, but I guess that's fine, right? So let's get to it. This event is brought to you by Engineers My and Ruby Malaysian Group. These are some of the links that you can find us: Facebook, Ruby Brigade, Meetup, GitHub, Slack, Discord, and that's it. Today's venue, food and drinks, are sponsored by our friends at HiveKind, helping tech companies succeed by building reliable web applications. Remember to introduce myself. My name is Helio, and I am one of the organizers of Ruby Malaysia. And if you are online, just keep in mind that if you send a comment or your chat may show up on the online stream, on the live stream, so act accordingly. We use the Ruby community, the Ruby language code of conduct. Make sure to conduct yourself accordingly. This month, we're doing something a little bit different. We are doing a 2023 Ruby retrospective. I tried to invite everybody I could to share a little bit of what they've done and what they learned, what they've done, or something interesting that they want to share with the community. And for the first time in ever, I managed to get 3 other speakers. So that's really cool. I'm really happy. And today here to talk about the 2023 Ruby retrospective, we have Amree, Zaid. We have Chun, myself, and Chun. So without further ado, I'm going to invite my friend Amree to give his retrospective. And let me kind of start from the beginning. Okay. So do you need full screen? Do you need to be like that?
That's fine.
Okay. Okay. Oh, something happened here in the streaming. So let me see. Oh, I think what happened was this. I think I need to I need to share my screen again.
Can I just give you my link?
Yes, you can give me the link.
Oh, wait, I need to. My code link.
Okay. That's it. I'm going to just present the view, and so that's gonna be you, Amree. And let me see how okay, so I need to add this to stage. Oh, okay, all right. Okay, Zaid, you're up, and you can take the stage and go for it.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. As usual, I didn't prepare much, so I'm going to read some from my phone. Okay, let's start with the first one. It shouldn't be taking too long. I think the first point that I want to bring up for 2023 that happened for me is that I read more books than the previous years. I think in 2022, maybe just one book. So this is a big change for me. I realized that usually we read articles, internets, blogs, that kind of stuff. At least for me, I rarely read books. But then I realized, it's obvious when you realize books also has lots of information, and it's not like the information is very, I would say long, but at the same time, maybe more complete at the same time as well. But someone asked me last time, one thing that you would advise a junior is that I would say try reading a book. The book is very thick normally, but since you are young, unlike me, it's easier to finish them before you go to like mid or senior. So I think books gonna help a lot because these people are very smart. You just need to learn what they have written. So these are the books, but I'm just gonna highlight, I guess, two of them. The first one would be the layered design for Ruby on Rails application. This is very new actually, 2 or 3 months before just released. It was written by the Evo Martians. I think people in Ruby on Rails world should know Evo Martians. If you don't, then you can ask me later. So he's like, I guess, Hive Mind, a consultancy company, and they are very good. And as in like, they also provide open source gems and that kind of stuff. So this book is based on one of the employees' experience. So the way he structured the book is by telling people on how to organize the code based on layers. So one shouldn't go beyond the layers in order to make sure that the code is more organizable, I guess. But I wouldn't recommend this for a junior, maybe mid or senior, because I think some of the words are very new, or for someone who doesn't do programming or projects. So for example, you need to know about patterns, for example, like presentation, layer, decorators, service, sidekicks, background jobs. And at the same time, the author also mentioned about some of the gems from Evo Machine, which is usually those gems are very good. But that doesn't mean you have to use it, more like learning why it is there in the first place. So for example, like I think in my company, we use the Let It Be to memorize the creation of the object in the aspect to ensure your test will be faster and everything. Because you don't want to keep on creating new objects on every test. It's okay for small code base, but when your code base is large, for example, to finish all the specs took 20 minutes, using Let It Be is going to help a lot. So I really recommend this book. This is one of the, I would say, one of the best book that I've read about Ruby on Rails. Just to be clear, I think the first one would be Senimax, practical object oriented. That one is always the classic one. And the second one would be that I want to highlight would be the making of manager. I mean, I was forced to read this book, but it's this one of the book that I would say mind blowing for me, because I don't think I've ever read or make an effort to read non-technical books. It helped me to see a new perspective on the manager side, but that doesn't mean even if you are not a manager, you shouldn't read this book. No, I think it's a good book to read for everyone. Maybe you can compare your manager with based on your reading based on this book. I think it was written by one of the Facebook employee, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe some one of the FANG companies. It resonates a lot with what I'm doing right now. For example, there's this particular topic where the author mentioned, she mentioned about how someone get to be a manager. Either you take over the team or you are a new joiner, and I forgot the other two. So it's common for me to read book and forgot about it, but at least I can say to myself I read the book. So I think these two books are the two that I want to highlight. So yeah, feel free to Google, download the PDF, or buy if you want to. All right, the next one. I think this is something very interesting for me in the workplace. We just started this like in the last few months in December. Credit to the chief CTO founder who keep on mentioning this to me. But I think it's gonna help us to solve problems with time series database in a scalable way. So for example, why do we even consider this as an option? Why do we even learn this in 2023? I think it's gonna help us to improve better the architecture in CoinGecko, and hopefully 2024 we can serve our customer better using this kind of stack. So one point that I want to highlight is that probably we should look into outside and don't get comfortable with the same stack that we have, because sometimes whatever we have might not solve what we want in order for us to move beyond what we can offer. it's not easy. You have to like prepare a plan, set up budget, convince your manager. So there are a lot of things when we talk about introducing new stuff, and that's just the way everyone works, I guess. You need to have the soft skill as well, and not mentioning that we need to use this, but I guess it applies to any new tech. You are bringing new risk to the company. Is it worth it? You have to justify it. But that doesn't mean the plan has to be perfect, but we need to move forward. So think about it. So something interesting about ClickHouse is a database. Just want to highlight a bit about ClickHouse. It's being used by lots of big companies. Say, for example, Cloudflare. Cloudflare is using it. It's a time series, meaning, it's not focused for time series. It's a columnar database. You can Google columnar versus row database. But one of the cool features that I've seen is that we export like 50 billion rows of data, and we can query a data based on aggregated queries. So the query is kind of complicated, but we managed to query it in less than 1 second. So yeah, let that sink in. 50 billion rows, query less than 1 second. The size from the CSV itself is about 2 terabytes, but when we export to ClickHouse, the data is about 300 megabytes. Because when we talk about columnar database, we can compress the column itself. Why can't row do the same? Because columnar means it physically is stored as a one type of data. So if it's integer, then we can customize the compression. We can set a new kind of compression, and that's going to help with the size. So from 2 terabytes of CSV, we managed to shrink the database to 300 megabytes. So I would say that's amazing. All right. Next, I didn't put any info because I don't dare. I'm still learning. This is something that I just stumbled into, that I applied into one of my personal projects. You can take a look later, search for railway-oriented programming by Scott. I don't know how to spell that, but the talk was like 6 or 7 years ago. So it's something from functional programming, but that doesn't mean our Ruby programmer OAP cannot use it. What is race-oriented programming? So railway, not race, railway-oriented programming. Sorry, it's about how we structure the code, how we can exit when there's an error, or how do we create the flow when there's a success. So whenever there's an error, we usually return from, let's say, our service object or form object. But how do we get that error and then pass to the caller? So it helps you to think in a different way. I don't think I'm the best person to talk in details about this concept. You can take a look later. But when I started to look into this, I start to use gems related to it. One example would be one from the dry RB ROM gem ecosystem. So normally I wouldn't touch those gems because I think I'm not smart enough to use those gems, because whenever you look into it, it feels like you're going to be like a computer scientist, that kind of stuff. And one of the gems would be something, I forgot the name, but it's related to monarchs. So I think those Elixir people maybe knows more than me about monarchs or Haskell kind of people. But I think one key point here is that keep looking outside. Don't get comfortable again. Just because I guess we are familiar with what Ruby on Rails can offer, that doesn't mean that's the best thing in the world. Look into how smart people are approaching problems in a different way. So this is why we got things like Elixir, React, and lots of other framework, Golang or whatsoever. And this is just something different, I would say. Doesn't mean you have to use it, but explore it for the sake of getting a new perspective. All right, the last one. I think I keep on learning about this one. I don't think there's an end to it. So this is a quote from one of the books. I didn't put that in my books just now, because I'm still reading, and it's 800 pages. I'm not sure I can finish it. But it's the book name is System Performance by Brandon Gregg. So there's a title in Netflix called Performance Engineer. So what they do, they basically fix anything related to performance issue. I tried Googling for that kind of job, almost never happened. So I think it's good that we can learn from these people. The problem with web scaling, something that CoinGecko has a lot experience and challenges at the same time, is that it's a bit hard for others to learn. So I mean, I'm not going to read the code. You guys can read the code. Is that in order to learn web scaling problems, usually people need to be in the problem. They need to face the problem. They need to be in the fire to, to be better. But so that's where the challenge comes in. If you are interested in fixing web scaling, how do you learn about it? So I think this book going to help you to learn about web scaling. It's totally different approach. It's a systematic approach. So there's going to be like methodologies. How do you look for problems? I think there's one drunken methodologies where, I don't exactly remember, but someone who was drunk trying to look for his keys, and there's a police at the same time, and he asked the drunken guy, "So what are you looking for?" He said, "I'm looking for my car keys." And then the police said, "Why don't you look under the street light?" Yeah, I should look into the street light. So he keeps on looking at the street light. I don't really understand 100%, but I think the main takeaway is that people usually look at places that is easy to find, but at the same time, they didn't look at, the darker places, as in like places they should be looking as well. So this has been rehearsed in the book as well. I think there are a lot of information there. Just need to finish the 800 pages, which I can. but one of the this code is good. I think it's very basic. It helps you to. It gives you a different kind of perspective when you look at the code on the web scaling. So in order to understand the problem, it's not just about understanding the code or just the AWS or the server side. For someone who wants to start, I think people should start by looking at when someone type google.com, what happens. So it's a simple thing. Google.com, what's happened? Actually, we asked that question during interview as well. So google.com, what happens? So DNS goes to, is there a CDN? Is there a proxy? Is there a cache? Then goes to ALB. ALB goes to, say you use engines and then Puma. So there's a layer of architecture that goes to until you reach your code. And we are not talking about cache layer, database. There are so many things. But a generic approach to look at this is try to understand the process, the flow, the data. How does the data goes into one layer to another layer to another technologies? So I wrote a small, I wrote a blog post. It wasn't supposed to be a long post, but somehow because I write it like slowly in 2 weeks, I think, in the span of 2 weeks, and it became like 3,000 words. If you feel you want to read it, you can check that URL. It's a very long one. Yeah, cautious first. All right, that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amree. It was really awesome. Let's see who is next on deck now after Amree, and let me make sure that I'm getting all the things correct here. Let me check the. Yes. Okay. No. There is. Let me go back here. I need to share my screen again. Stop sharing. I'm going to start sharing again. Let me, okay, so that's the window. Let me see now here. We are going to get one from cheap. Okay, so there is something missing here. I need now to add these on the stage. Okay, and now let me see if I get that right. Yes, I did. So Let's welcome today One Zoom to give him retrospective. Okay, hold on. I think I need to do something else. Something is getting lost here. Maybe no, maybe this. Oh no, it's good. It's all good. All right. So one, you can just use the arrows to left and right. Next page.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's welcome One to share his retrospective.
Hey, hello. I'm Wanzukana from Chip. So today, basically, I got notice from Helmi. Yeah, last week Friday, so I got very little time to prepare. So I apologize. So basically, what I will talk about today is about ASM, callback, and sidekick. So basically, ASM is a gem for state transition. So it's very useful. We use in chip to manipulate a state. And also we use sidekick. Basically, sidekick is a framework to run tasks independently from main thread. It's very fast compared to previously. I use delayed job. So basically, it can run the job. It can execute the job in multi-threading. So basically, in one time, there is more than one task can be run. So I give one example, money transfer. So we have three states, money transfer models. We have three states. The first state is receive, the initial state where the system receive an instruction to transfer money, and the second state is executing, and the third state is complete. So here I create two events. The first event is execute, and the second event is complete. So basically, if we look at the AASM, it facilitates the state change. So the first time the money transfer object, is have the state of receive. Second, when I call execute, basically the AASM state now become executing. After that, when I call complete, the AASM state become completed. So here, let's add callback lah. I add callback. So basically, I hook the complete event with after callback to charge the customer. So basically, upon after the money transfer has been complete, we will charge the customer. So here, the charge customer, I call charge customer worker dot perform async ID. So here I define the worker lah. In the worker sidekick job, basically I check the state. If the state is complete, then I will charge the customer. If the state is not complete, I will not charge the customer. So I just take extra caution lah. Before we charge the customer, I check first the state. So what we expect is when the system call the ASM's event to complete, basically what we expect is the charges will get completed. So here, money transfer ASM state equal to complete. So what we don't expect is when the system call the complete event, basically the charges is not completed. So what is the cost? The cost, what happened is AASM after callback, after the keyword terms after here, after. So here this is after, I use after. Is executed before database commit. So basically every transaction will have commit, and the sidekick execute the job earlier than the database commit. So what happened to me is in my local environment that doesn't happen because sidekick in my laptop is slower than the production one. So that's tricky. So basically, how we can replicate the issue is we add before commit delay, and I make the program to sleep for 2 seconds. So here I change the model to include before commit delay to make sure the program sleep for 2 seconds. So basically, how to prevent is we need to I change to after commit instead of after. because after commit means after the database has committed the changes, then only the job will be enqueued. So I change here after commit. What I should not do is to use perform in and we define a second. Maybe we think maybe database commit will happen in 1 second, so we put here perform in 2 seconds. But there is no guarantee how long the database commit will happen. So we should not do the perform in. So I think that's all from me.
All right, thank you so much, Juan. Those are the famous work to my machine. Right. It's so we all been there a handful of times. All right. So let me kind of switch back here now to the presentation. Okay. So next on deck, it's me. I'm going to talk a little bit about my 2023 retrospective. This year I did a lot more OSS contributions than last year. I became an organizer of the Ruby Malaysian group. I was part of a team who won second place in a hackathon organized by Bank Negara using passkeys. And everything I learned about passkeys, I wrapped up in a conference talk, and I got accepted in RubyConf Thailand and Taiwan. I'm going to Taiwan next week to present my talk there. And I started using GitLab. So that's one thing that changed for me this year. All right, I'm going to do a quick one today. I'm so happy today that I'm the one that speaks the least today. I'm so happy about that. So here we go. Next on deck, Chun. He's going to give us a live demo and a retrospective. Okay, so now let's make sure. Let me get you. So did you open the? Okay, let me. I need to add USB, and then I'm going to go fine. I'm going to. Okay, so.
Chip.
Okay, so now, okay, you need to, let me add you, okay. We get your slides on the deck, so this
Which one is present?
all good.
Which one is present?
So now you need to come
This one.
over here, Mr. I'll give you a okay. All right, let me hook you up here. I will give you the seat. All right.
Right. Hello, everyone. So I just got a request from Helio yesterday, but a little bit of a background actually. So I was in the last Ruby meetup, Ruby Tuesday, and I actually promised Helio that me and my friend Elvis here is going to give a talk on Hotwire. So there was a lot of procrastination, but we did get it done. So this slide was actually prepared by me and my friend Elvis. So we also built a little bit of a demo. So I think in a quick lightning talk for 10 minutes, we're going to go through whatever that we learned within this past 2 weeks on Hotwire. So 2023 was also quite interesting for me because I took a little bit of a career break. So I got a chance to, I had the privilege to kind of work on applications using Hotwire. So both greenfield projects and also some legacy app that was actually using Hotwire and transitioning some of the components to Hotwire. So today we're going to tackle 2 of the basic things on Hotwire, and as well as giving a basic introduction on Hotwire. So I was, okay. So part of the thing about Hotwire was that there's a, hold on, this is the slide. Okay, sorry, skip that slide. So a brief introduction to Hotwire. So Hotwire is a suite of front-end frameworks that provide a different way to build modern applications without using too much JavaScript. So it's a collection of techniques that use the best of the both worlds, keeping the original simple architecture, sending HTML over the wire, and not losing like performance benefits of single page applications. Right. So Hotwire consists of three parts. So the first one is turbo drive, turbo frames, and turbo streams. Right. So let's look at turbo drive. Right. So turbo drive is a key component of Hotwire suite that revolutionizes page navigation and form submissions. So I think TLDR, from what I understand, turbo drive is instead of reloading the whole page, so what happens is that the head is preserved, but the body of the page is actually replaced. So I'll be showing a little bit of this in the demo later. So let's move on to turbo frames. So I hope the illustrations make things a little bit clearer. So turbo frame is a part of Hotwire. So turbo frame allows us to kind of cut up each part of our web page. So what it allows us to do is to only update a small part of your application. So one simple use case is, for example, like a comment section in your application. So if you submit a comment on a post, what ideally you want to see is the comment to show up immediately. So what turbo frame does is that when you post a comment, and immediately you will see the comment popping up right afterwards. Yeah. So the next component will be turbo streams. So when you're discovering Hotwire, you might ask a question like, what's the difference between turbo frame and turbo streams? From what I understand, very simply, is that turbo streams allow you to update different parts in the application instead of just one part. So again, this will be demonstrated in a demo later. So a few common turbo stream actions will be append, prepend, replace, update, and remove. In the demo, we'll be looking at append and also replace. Yeah. Okay, demo time. So there will be no live demo. I actually build it first so that it reduces mistakes. So, right. Sorry if it's a low quality app. I just built it like this afternoon. Okay. Let's look at the network tab. Well, why is that drilling like right now? So, in a to-do app, normally when you want to create one, you have multiple page visits. You have task/new. Let's see what happens. Right. So in order to create a page, you will need all these things. If you open your network tab, you'll be able to see there will be style sheets and documents that you have to render. So in Turbo, so if I create a new task, you will see that there is no document and CS rendering right here. Right. Still the same page. What happens is that I'm using a technique called turbo frame and wrapping this part, right? And when I click it, I want it to be replaced with another frame. So let's take a look at how it looks like in code. So this is a typical Rails app to-do list controller. Okay. So the index page, is it big enough? Should I zoom? Okay, yeah. So let's take a look at the element here, right? So here, you can see that this is wrapped in something called turbo frame, all right? So if you're interested, or if you want to have a look now, you can search for something called turbo frame tag, which I'm using as a Rails helper to build this HTML element. So a key element here will be the ID, right? So ID is important for Rails to know when you click on something, right, the ID will be the one that Rails will look for, and you will need to make sure the ID is always the same. I will briefly explain how it looks like. So let's create a to-do list for me, myself, attend Ruby Tuesday. Okay. Oh wait, I think, right, so I'm able to create something without any page refresh, but there's a bug that's supposed to show up. But, right, so here, what I did is to wrap this link with a TurboFrame tag, new task, right? And when I create a task, I'll be returning a turbo stream, right? Sorry, I'm jumping into turbo stream first, but I'll briefly explain. I'll come back here again. So if you look at here, I'm telling turbo stream to append to this ID, which I declare here, a new task, right? So the ID here is very important. So it will tell the server where to look for the ID, right? So again, this is what I explained just now. TurboStream allow you to perform multiple actions in one stream. So the two actions I'm doing, the first one is to append a task into frame ID task with S, and also to update this frame with an empty, with something empty, basically. All right. It shouldn't be empty. It should be the new task again. So this is where my bug is, right? So this is TurboStream. So another cool thing that we can do using TurboFrame would be something called inline editing. So I can edit my task here without a page refresh. If I look at my network tab, okay. So here, there's no document render, there's no CSS fetching. This is done using TurboFrame only, right? So how this is done is, wrapping this part again with TurboFrame, right? So when I click the edit button, so this is how the edit view looks like, right? So again, the ID is very important, because if you look at the ID here, it's looking at task 16. So I've deleted 16 already, just to get this demo working. So this is task number 16. If you remember here, here. So this task is actually TurboFrame tag. It's a Rails helper that helps you populate the ID here, basically. So this task is actually task number ID 16. So when you click it, it will look for the action for edit, right? So there's a better explanation online. So what actually happens is that if you look at what happens behind the scene is that Rails will look for the ID 16 here. Okay, and then it will populate only this part onto the HTML, right? So let's do another to-do list. All right, give a talk. Again, so if I'm using append, I will make sure the to-do list goes all the way to the bottom, right? Okay. So I can also do something different here. Instead of appending, I can prepend. Let's hope this works. Is it prepend? Right. So prepend means it goes all the way up. right? So this is how TurboStream, using different actions, you can tell like the server where to actually look for it. Yeah, I think that's all from my talk. So that kind of wraps up both TurboFrame and TurboStream. Sorry I didn't really cover much, but I promise that Elvis, my friend, will be giving a more detailed talk in the next few months. So stay tuned, guys.
All right, very cool, very cool. That's the first ever live demo of Hotwire that I've seen in my life, so that's pretty cool.
Thanks.
All right, so let me now switch back here. Thank you, Chun.
Yeah, you still win, bro.
I don't see any.
Yes, okay, now everything is back now. I get my laptop back. Everybody's looking at me. Let me check the streaming now if I got everything right. And yes, sounds like I did. Okay. All right. That's it for the retrospective 2023. And so now we're moving on to parking lot. And so this is the section that you all can share something that that you've been doing that you haven't shared yet. Anybody doing something cool that you want to share?
About something I didn't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that sidekick thing, no sidekick, hotwire thing is what I have previously tried, and I gave up because I had problem configuring it with Docker. So I had a really dumb mind for configuration. So I decided to do the dumb way, which is the remote update. So the remote form submit, which is what you say it will deal with a lot of JS. Yeah. So for me, the same to do this. I actually did the similar demo. I managed to give it to remote create and append at the bottom and delete sort of smartly. So not exactly going into every page and create there. But still, I'm facing a problem here. I have to redirect. And then when I format the JSON in controller, this is what I didn't know. I struggle to get the JSON to get a page to render a message to show that it's been updated.
Okay.
So I wonder if you have some solution for that.
Actually, off the top of my mind, I'm not too sure. But
Because you now came up with something better, yeah. So I'm not expecting. Well, I was thinking, hey, maybe I will not get the answer, but unfortunately, I already did it that one. So for pages, without having to go with the JS flow, I simply decided to just use a redirect and then format just write the notice. Is it notice? And then display.
Yep.
I see.
Yeah, but for one page, I have some flow. I have to show the first screen in JS, and for that one, I think I'm pretty stuck.
Oh, okay. Is it a personal project that you're working on?
I'm working on an internal tool. It's a report writer we've been talking about the other day, and I'm pushing the project to a pretty dodgy place where the report opens Python script for some writing in the docs file, and then opens another library to write some text, rich text, and opens another library to append several templates. And today I was given another task to generate org chart from the data, the existing value. And then I did some research, found several libraries, and found one I think was good, and then found out it charges money. So I'm using this one. And eventually, I don't know if you did this case. So eventually I found Mermaid.js as pretty good for making charts. I'm doing all charts, but they also have other options as maybe class, what is that? Yeah, quite a lot of those common ones, pretty good. I think it's pretty good. I recommend it because it generates from text. So you just need to format the syntax and then it will render in SVG. But one problem I faced today is because I personally didn't find any Rails gem good enough for that one. There's only one ERD gem, so I had to just embed the JavaScript using the JavaScript and build it from not really scratch, but try writing it myself. And first encountered error because it wouldn't want me to write straight into the page element. So I did all the work, has gone to waste, and eventually I asked GPT gave me this to writing helper method to format the text first and then pass it all together to the browser. So the problem I had was I first wanted to save it as SVG and it wouldn't open properly, and it said something was wrong. There's some text it didn't close, and I pasted it into GPT. Said it is wrong. GPT said I think it is correct to me, and I thought, okay, what if I export it as PNG? And then I tried several other libraries as well, and found one finally that will do it. Then it gave me the error. You are having maybe span or BR unite that didn't close itself. Then I looked in SVG file. Okay, there was this one BR. I put a /n, but it then got translated into BR. It's not self-closing. So finally, that one using gserv was replaced. Then it opens okay as if SVG open. Okay, why would I convert it to PNG then if I'm writing this into a docs file? Yeah. So that was today's progress. If anyone needs to generate charts, that would be one thing I didn't do.
That's cool. That's cool. So maybe in the next meetup, you can come and share a little bit more about a little bit more about your experience with writing charts, or maybe turbo frames and Hotwire. That would be cool. All right. Sounds good. All right, let me see what else we have here. Hiring shoutouts. Studio Labs is still hiring one developer. I suggest you guys check it out. Chip has one backend dev role opened. You should check it out. There's some folks from Chip here if you want to chat with them. Forkwell also has several openings. You can check it out. And let me see. That's it for today. Thank you all for coming. See you all next year. All right, let me end streaming here.